Hi, fifth graders. I'm excited to do some art with you today. You'll need a piece of paper and something to write with. A pen, pencil, whatever you have. We're going to be doing a rectangular prism. Actually, we're going to do lots of rectangular prisms all over our page today. So there's a simple way to draw these that I'll show you, and then I'll let you go ahead and fill up your page with all different rectangular prisms going different directions. So it'll be a little bit of an abstract piece of art today, and then you'll be able to color it in. So to start, we're going to be making a rectangle. So you choose what kind of rectangle you want to make. Okay, here's an example of one. I'm just starting in a random spot on my page because I'll be filling it up. And then I'm going to make the exact same rectangle, but a little bit up and off to the side because we want to make this 3D. Okay, so however far out you went over for the first line, you want to go over the same amount for the next line. So, and you're trying to keep the same sizes and everything. So they're exactly the same here. And then you're going to connect each point. And we have a 3D rectangular prism. So this is the idea, and we're going to take this in an abstract way. So instead of worrying about every shape having the same perspective in art, we're going to just draw our rectangular prisms all over the page however you'd like, and I just want you to practice making that congruent rectangle shape right behind it off to the side. So I'll show you a few more examples. Okay, here's one that got a little farther away on the back on accident, but that's okay. We've got the idea. This is kind of a practice page, so you can do more and see how it goes. I think I'll do a rectangle that's vertical this time, and you can tell I tilted my rectangle, so you can make your original rectangles any direction, any rotation, and then just wherever it is, take the copy of it, the same idea, and move it over a little bit and up. And there you go. So I think you probably got the idea. I'm going to go ahead and fill up my page with some big and small, just different rectangular prisms going different directions. And you do the same. You can play around with having the second rectangle really close to the first one. So I'll show you one like that. So that would be one where the width isn't very long, kind of a shallow rectangular prism. You can see it's just this short width back there. If this is the length, this is the height, and that's the width, you have a short width there. I know that those are the things you use to calculate volume, right? Length, width, and height. Okay, so we played around with having it really close together. Now I'm going to play around with having it really far apart. A lot further apart. So the same idea here. We're going to make our two rectangles. Again, it looks like I made mine a little too big here. I probably needed to slow down a little bit, but this is close enough. So I've got my two rectangles. They're supposed to be the same size, and instead of having it straight back, it's back and a little off to the side. That's because I want to see the sides. If I do it straight back, I won't be able to see the third side there. Okay, and then always connect the same corner to the same corner. So I've got my top right corner here connecting with my top right down there. Bottom right to bottom right. Top left to top left, bottom left to bottom left. And there's my longer or deeper rectangular prism. And you can see that the back was a little bit too long. You can kind of tell when you look at that visually that it's not quite a perfect rectangular prism. So I'm getting practice too while we're doing this. I will go ahead and keep filling up my page like I said. And you do the same thing until you feel satisfied with your page. There's a nice long one. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking for blank spots now, and I'm choosing a direction that maybe is different or that seems to fit well into that space. And then I'm just choosing what direction I want to overlay my rectangle, and once again connecting those. Okay, as you can see, mine are not perfect. They're a little off. And I hope that if yours are too, that you're seeing that this takes practice and it's okay to not have it be perfect. You're just getting the idea. But if you want to make it a little more perfect, one idea you could do is get a ruler, if you have one, and measure the exact length of each side. And then when you go to draw your next one, you can make it exact. See, I did a better job there. They look closer to this exact same size. And then you draw all your connecting lines, 4 connecting lines. Right, let's see. I need something here. You can start thinking about what kind of rectangular prisms these are. What I mean is what you want them to represent. They could be actual objects like boxes. Maybe they're a bunch of packages coming in the mail because you're ordering things online right now instead of going to stores. Or maybe they are boxes of food coming to your house. All the food, all your favorite foods that you like to eat being delivered. Maybe they are all your favorite shoe boxes that you've collected every time you got new shoes. They could also be, because see how these are all, you can see what's inside them. The way we're drawing them, they're transparent. So they could also just be boxes made of glass that don't have anything inside, or maybe they have plants inside. This can kind of be your own creation, and you can use your imagination. Maybe it's cupcakes inside, right? So whatever you love or are interested in, you could think about drawing those things if you'd like. Or there's always the option to just make them an artistic design from your imagination. So there might not be anything inside. Maybe you're just going to show us the different colors of your boxes. Getting lots of rectangular prisms on here. All right, I am going to sign my name in the bottom right corner. Sign your name when you're done. And I'll make a copy here really quickly before I color. So I have a couple ideas right now of what I might do to color mine in. I'm picturing glass boxes that are made of different colors of glass. So they're transparent, and each side, when you see it through the other sides, like if you see the back through the front, it kind of blends to make a new color because it's glass. And I'm also picturing that maybe there's something inside some of these boxes. So I think I'll start with drawing in some of those surprises in the box. So I like the idea of putting plants inside. So I'm going to go ahead and draw some just different plants. I'm just making these up inside some of my boxes. I'm using colored pencil today. This is a great medium if you're trying to show something that is see-through, because you can do it light or dark. So I want to make my objects inside dark, because I want them to look solid, like they're real plants or solid shapes. And then I'll use, so I'm pressing hard to make them look solid. And then I'll probably use colored pencils and press lightly when I draw the color of the glass for the boxes. And I am not going to put a plant in every box. I'm just going to do it in a few. This one will actually be, it's going to have a flower in it. So some of my plants look like real plants and some of them don't. Maybe some are more like a cactus or a little, even like a little weed or a shrub. Okay, so I have a few little surprises in there. I could add more if I want. In fact, I do want to add one more. In this box, I'm going to draw a whole garden. So I guess my idea here is that someone is mailing me or mailing you a box of glass or glass boxes, some of which have small gardens or plants inside. Okay. All right. So for the ones that are in gardens, I'm going to choose brown, and again I'll do that a solid color for the bottom. So I'll show you which pane I'm coloring in. That would be the bottom. And it can be kind of tricky to see which is which when you're coloring these in. So, and also it just depends on where you want the viewer to look. So for mine, I chose one pane as the bottom, and it makes it look, I think, like it's tipped backwards or up on its side. Let's look at it and see. Okay, so if I choose this pane, then as the bottom, then you can see that it depends where you're looking. Is it standing up? Is it lying down? So it's kind of a little bit of an optical illusion. This next one, I'm going to make it a little more obvious, I think. I'm going to choose this slanted pane as the bottom for the ground, and let's see how that one looks. Okay, so that one you can see like you're looking in. Here's the ground, and there's the plant inside. And you might be drawing. You might not be making yours see-through. You might be making yours solid. So you might just be coloring the outside, the three faces that show, which would be 1, 2, 3 if it's not see-through. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying, or you can make more sense than I can saying this. So I got another idea when I was looking at this. What about fish tanks? So you could have these be full of different color of fish and color them in blue. That would be kind of cool. And that would be a neat surprise to have show up at your door. Guess you'd need food to go with it so you could feed all the fish. So I am really interested and excited to see what you'll be doing with your rectangular prisms. And if you're like me and you're looking at these and getting almost a little confused with which side is which as you're coloring, that's why we drew so many. So this is an exercise for you and for me to look and see what we see when we color it a certain way. And then if you figure out a way that works for you, then you can use that again on the next one. Or if it doesn't work, try something different on your next rectangular prism. And I think it will still look fine because we've done this in a way that makes the whole picture a little bit abstract, again, like I said, so it doesn't really have one right way that it needs to look. We've talked about it before too, but remember, if you like listening to music while you draw, then that's a great thing to put on. It just can sometimes help the time pass more quickly, help you stay focused and engaged in what you're doing. Especially if you choose music that doesn't have a lot of words or it's not very distracting to you, but that you can just hear in the background. Alright, so far, here are my little floating gardens. And this one, I'm going to do, again, I can, it's like you can see it forward and backwards. So you choose the way you want to draw it, to color it, and then let's see what happens. See what it makes. It might look different than you expected. And that's happening to me on some of these. Alright, now the rest of mine, and for the rest of all the glass, I'm going to just focus on the colored glass idea. So for example, when I shade in a pane of glass here, so I'm doing this rectangle right here, it's supposed to be in the front on mine, I'm going to shade right over the whole thing because it's glass, right? So that layer goes on top of everything else if it's in the front. And you can't see it. I mean, it doesn't show through the brown. The brown is so dark that it shows through, I guess I should say it that way. And to show that all the different sides of this shape, I'm going to choose a different color for each pane of glass, and then hopefully it will help the viewer see that these are clear and they're overlapping. So in the back, for the back pane, I'm actually going to go around the outside of my plant. This might be hard to see, but for this back pane, I'm coloring the whole thing in except for where the plant was, because the plant is showing through that part of the, it's in front of this back pane. But I will color straight through everything else. So I went through the yellow and through the blue, okay? And for my last side, I do light pink and go straight through all the other colors. So see how this, I did pink all the way down through the blue, and it turned it purple because I had blue here, pink here, and they mixed into purple. It almost looks the same as this purple. Alright, so that's the idea of what I'm doing. Let me show you again on one more that doesn't have anything inside it. It might be a little bit easier to see. So I'm just choosing a different color for every pane. Keep calling them panes because I'm thinking of a glass pane, like in a window. But faces could be another word for it. And then I'll do, okay, so I've done 2 faces, right? And there's one more that wasn't touched yet. Okay, so if I just color those 3, then it kind of looks like it's missing some panes if you look at it. So I'm going to do all the other 3 as well, and they're going to overlap. So this front one now is yellow, or it might look like the back, depending on which way you look at it. And I'll do orange. And some light green. Interesting. Okay. See how that changes it? So it's just giving you this interesting rainbowy image of the light. What I'll do is I'm going to choose some soft colors that I can rotate through to do this. I'm going to try to choose some that are pretty light, and then I'll color with them extra light so that they show through. And we'll see what happens. Kind of an experiment. A few of these need to be sharpened. I can't remember if I used that one yet. Let's see. Okay, so if you are doing what I'm doing where you're doing a different color of glass for each face, then I don't know if you're having trouble like I am keeping track of which ones you already colored because they overlap so much. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to do one face first, okay, like this, the orange here, and then I'm going to do the congruent shape next. So whichever rectangle was exactly the same as that one, I'll do that one next. So I'll kind of work in opposites here. And then I'll choose another shape. So maybe I'll choose this quadrilateral here. Parallelogram, I think. And then I'll find that same shape again and do that one next. All right, and then I have two more shapes, right? Because there's 6 faces. So I have this other quadrilateral on the side, and one more, the one that looks like that on that side. All right, there it is. Okay, so that might help me get this going a little more smoothly, to know that I did each side. Another thing you could try is you could mix up your pattern. So instead of doing a different color on every side, you could try matching the 2 sides that are opposite from each other. Let's find the missing shape here. Is this one. And this one. All right. Show you mine in a second again, in case you want to see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what I'm getting, just kind of different combinations in each one. Now, I'm going to try one where I do the exact same color for the 2 shapes that are opposite each other. Let's see how that looks. So here I did well, it's hard to see probably, but it's such a light blue, but this rectangle and the one behind it are exactly the same blue. Now I'll look for two more shapes that are the same and do them the same color. So orange and orange. Okay, so the matching ends. And then I've got one more shape here, which is this slanting quadrilateral here. Do those ones pink. All right, so that has a cool look to it as well. So you can look and see what you like. I mean, you've probably already figured it out because you're also drawing right now, most likely. But if this gives you any ideas, go ahead and use them if you want. And I'll look forward to seeing your ideas if you share those with a photo of your work. Something that you can do with this is you can use your knowledge of color mixing. So if you know that two colors make another color, maybe you just want to use those two colors on your box and see if you can create a new color out of those two. Here I just used yellow and blue and green, and there's not any blue left because every area that had blue was overlapped with green or yellow and made it into green, so it's kind of fun. Also try warm and cool combination colors. Do opposite colors across from each other, complementary colors like red and green, orange and blue, yellow and purple. Kind of fun. That's what I did here. I did pink and green across from each other, purple and yellow, orange and blue on all those opposite sides, and they all blended together like that. Maybe for this one, I'll just do analogous colors, so the colors that are close to each other on the color wheel. We've been getting a lot of practice with different ways to color and to use color in design. One thing you could also be doing that I haven't done yet on this page is pattern. So you could also be creating your own patterns for each side, and that would also add an interesting element. Down here I just used analogous colors, warm colors together. So that's what happened there. Maybe I'll do a cool color one over here. Using my blues and greens, maybe a little purple. It's really fun to see how they mix together. Okay, so another really fun idea that I just had is what if you just only used the primary colors? So red, yellow, and blue, or maybe it would be pink, yellow, and blue since we're coloring lightly if you're doing it this way. because then you would be able to make all the other colors as you went. That would be fun to see someone do that. See how it looks. And each time you did it, you could rotate which one was on top, so that way you'd create different combinations. Here's one with red and yellow. And pink. I would be interested to see how this was going if you're using markers, just to see how they're blending, or if you're just choosing to do a different color for each pane or face of the shape. That would be interesting to see what you're doing with that. Same with paint. If you were doing this with paint. Now something fun you could do also is, this would be a fun one with Play-Doh. So you could just be creating these shapes out of Play-Doh if you have that at home. I love sculpting the 3D shapes with Play-Doh. I just think it's fun to try to get the sides really flat and the edges really crisp. If I did all the ones on that side, and then one more here. Okay, so it's my floating greenhouse. Kind of fun. I am going to do a background color quickly. Since these are floating, I'm gonna put a light blue for the background for the sky, just to fill it in, and to add a little bit more sign that it's finished. More of a sign that it's finished. I'm imagining these floating down onto someone's porch, or to their entry to their home, their front door. Just floating down out of the sky as a gift. If you wanted to be really tricky with this, you could go back and get a ruler and measure all your rectangular prisms that you made and find out what the volume is for each one, just by measuring the height times the width times the length. And I bet you've even learned other ways to do it in math. So maybe it's, actually drawing a grid of all the little squares inside this shape. So, you can definitely get some math practice out of this if you want to do that. Just finish this off with this blue for the sky, and then be all done. Now you might be going faster or slower, or adding more or less detail. Take your time. Take however much time you need. Remember, you can always stop and come back. Drawing can be something fun you can come back to when you need to relax or have a break from some of the other things that you're doing for school. Can kind of help reboot your mind, in my opinion. good skill to practice for not just art, but also just for that ability to focus. At least it helps me in that way. To sharpen that a few more times. This one, because I'm doing a big area with my colored pencil here, I've got my colored pencil as much on its side as I can have it, so that it's coloring a little bit faster. And I have my board under here so I can go all the way off the edge. I'm trying to keep my coloring going the same direction so that the viewer doesn't focus on my lines and going every which way. They just focus on the color. That's what I want them to focus on, is just it's a background color. Not be distracted by any different directions of lines going on. If I wanted to do that, then that would be great. You could do that, of course, with art. That's just all about what you want to have the viewer look at and think and feel, what you want to communicate to them. All right, here's my art. Okay, I hope you had fun today with your many boxes, your quadrilaterals, whether it was floating boxes like mine or whatever you decided to turn yours into. Love to see them. I'm really excited for that. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.